Previously on Top Travel.
I told myself a couple of years ago that I would never get a tattoo again.
Aren't you scared, little girl?
Finish.
It's beautiful to see a culture that still exists today with the same principles as olden day living.
This week on Top Travel.
The cosmopolitan city of Cuzco is said to be about 3,000 years old, which makes it the most ancient city in the Americas.
It's also the historic capital of the Inca Empire.
25 years ago, it was also declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
And every year, thousands of travelers from around the world come here to see the remains of a once great civilization.
Cuzco is great. It's an absolute traveler's delight because everywhere you look in this little city, they are just foreign travelers and backpackers and explorers all over the place.
It's just got so much energy, and it's just one of those places you want to be at. You want to experience it. You want to live it.
Hey,
how are you doing? I'm Janez. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Jeannie.
And welcome to my town.
So beautiful. This is obviously the central square.
This is the famous Haucaipat Square. Long ago was the most important Inca capital.
And this must be like the vibrant meeting point of the city because there's so many people around here.
Exactly. As you notice, there are people from all over the world. Actually, you can feel the warmth of the people. Wherever you go, there will be could be altitude problems, but never attitude ones. You see?
There's so many churches in very close proximity.
Exactly. As you can see, this is the major concern of the Spaniards to evangelize the native people, building churches.
Cusco really is something else because the Incas built it 3,000 years ago. The Spanish then invaded. They thought their architecture and beliefs were better, so they flattened most of the buildings, but they kept the foundations of the Incas. And then they built their buildings on top of that. So it's just this unique blend, this melting pot of so much time and so much energy and so much workmanship. Beautiful.
How did Cuzco get its name?
The original name of the city actually is Cusco, and Cusco is another Quechua word that means navel of the world.
Navel of the
Center of the world.
We got this tour guide. He was so sweet. But he was a real little academic. He was so enthusiastic, and he says to me, "Today we're going to Sacsayhuaman." And I went, "Why are you speaking to me like that?"
Cusco was the place where the Incas originated and was the place where they ruled from. Sacsayhuaman was their most holy site.
But honestly, the place is called Sacsayhuaman. I mean, what's everybody going to think when they hear the name? So, yeah, Janez obviously has got a lot of experience in history. And so he was taking it all very seriously. He was like, "We're going to Sacsayhuaman."
Sacsayhuaman.
Sacsayhuaman.
And I was like, "Really?" And who is that?
This place is called Sacsayhuaman, which means the head of the puma. And it was actually the main center or the main religious center of Cusco in the Inca civilization. And when the Spanish arrived here in 1532, they thought this was a fortress or a place of evil worship, of sun worship. So they knocked the entire thing down. But you can see how big these boulders are that they actually failed in breaking it down. What a place. This place was built in the 15th century. The building blocks and the masonry work is just so incredible. They've got blocks that are tons and tons and tons. It's a total respect, and I pay total homage to the Inca Empire because they were way ahead of their time.
I suffer from CSS, which is compulsive shopping syndrome.
Going shopping.
I know exactly what you mean. We got to this beautiful market, and I really wanted a poncho, I wanted a colorful little hat, and I wanted these bags. They have these amazing sling bags in the most beautiful colors, and I wanted to buy one.
This is great. Everything in this country is so bright. But if you do come here, shopping is brilliant because they've got the most amazing bulls, from llamas and lemurs and alpacas, and they're really such fantastic quality. ¿Cuánto cuesta esto?
I found one of these masks. I don't know where it comes from, but they've got these weird masks in different colors. You kind of look like an evil devil with eyes that open up and you can stick your tongue out. So Jeannie was shopping around. She was so happy, as usual, when she's in the shopping paradise. And I kind of snuck up behind her, put the mask on, and went. She got the fright of her life.
That was not funny.
This looks very interesting. It almost looks like one of those flea markets where the locals would go.
No, I don't like flea markets. I don't want to go.
Come on, man. Just be daring for once. They might even have Gucci, except the fake one.
I don't do flea markets. I've learned. It's a lesson I've learned. Don't go to flea markets.
Fresh juice as much as you want. You said you wanted something healthy. Do you want to try some?
You buy one for yourself and I'll have a sip of it.
Why, are you scared of your tummy?
In this particular market, there were just rows and rows and rows of these women cutting up fresh fruit, and it was quite an amazing production line because they're cutting the fruit, throwing it in the juicer, making the juice.
I didn't see her wash her hands.
That would be because she didn't.
Good thing is I've got a weak stomach.
What a charismatic girl that was. She was amazing. As she was making the juice, she was talking about her country and asking us questions.
South Africa. South Africa. South Africa. South Africa. Yeah. She thinks we're not South African because we're not black.
And then she produced this juice, which was fantastic. It really was. You can't, mess up fruit juice. Cut the fruit open, pulp it. Good juice.
Mind you, she made one for
She made one for you too. There you go. No one ever looks after him, and now he's been looked after for the first time.
That's how they cash in Peru. You order one, but she'll make 3 and charge you for 4.
We had the most incredible day. We walked around this fantastic city. We went to the historical sites, never expecting to come to a place like La Cazón.
It was such a long journey that to get to this beautiful, beautiful hotel that almost looked like a sacred space was just immediately relaxing. It used to be the head offices for a convent, so the whole building certainly does have the architecture of a typical Catholic space. It boggles my mind how architects nowadays don't do this to modern buildings because it is so intriguing and so beautiful.
The hospitality here is incredible. The moment you walk in, they bring you hot towels, they give you cocoa tea, which helps you with the altitudes, and the staff are just so hospitable.
Jeannie?
Hi, Eric. How are you?
Fine. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome.
Put the fireplace on.
Yes, that's right. Waiting for you. Please have a seat.
Now, this house is part of the Inca Terra group. What exactly is that?
It's a company that looks for providing a luxury experience, but with very authentic elements.
Eric, sitting here, I really feel like we're in a piece of history. What is the history of this house?
The house itself was built, they started to be built in 1585 to the 1700. During that period of time, it was occupied by a lot of different people and very important personalities. So that's why La Casona has a lot of different styles in architecture that you will see.
What kind of experience are you trying to give to your guests?
We want to provide our guests with a feeling that they are in their house, or even better, if it's possible. No, everything that is a big hotel is exactly what we don't want to be. I think we've talked enough. I want now you to experience some of our Inca Terra Peruvian hospitality.
Thank you. Oh, this is beautiful.
Nice little romantic setting.
I know. Thank you. Thanks so much. I love Peru.
There's something about this place. The people in the streets laughing, screaming, children running.
I can't believe I've only had 2 hours sleep, and yet I feel so energized here, despite the fact that there's not really much oxygen going around.
I wonder what the chef's cooking.
Where are you going? Make sure he makes me something nice.
Hello, guys.
Hello there.
Hello, Janez. Nice to meet you. Eric, there's something about this high altitude that makes us really hungry. What are you preparing for us
today? That is
today?
very usual. And Richard is starting with a salad, a fresh salad for you to help you recover your energy.
The chef was fantastic. The dish he made for us was, it's like a rice, it's called quinoa. Everywhere you go in Peru, they serve quinoa in different shapes and different forms, but it's equally tasty everywhere you go. And apparently it's very healthy too, so Jeannie and myself, we stocked up on the quinoa. Wasn't one of your favorite dishes quinoa?
I love quinoa.
Well, I've just organized you a quinoa salad. And it's two different kinds of quinoa. It's like a darker grain and a lighter grain. I've mixed it with all these traditional herbs and spices, olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and chicken.
Oh, wow. Gracias, Carlos. That looks fantastic. You're right.
Aprovecho.
Thank you.
I think that means bon appetit.
Excellent.
When you think Peru, you think Machu Picchu. They go hand in hand.
We took a train to Machu Picchu, and it was about a 3.5-hour train journey. Just this little steam train coming through these little valleys and opening up into these incredible mountains. I thought, wow, this is going to be good.
After Easter Island, I wasn't expecting much, and then we walked along the main pathway, which is basically along the railway, and there was our resort. It was spectacular. It was wooden chalets built in the middle of the mountainside with birds and trees and water flowing everywhere. It was so tranquil, so peaceful, and so beautiful. Now, this isn't a traditional hotel. It's almost got all these villas spread out in the rainforest.
Yes, we have small houses, different houses here around the environment, natural environment here, like Andean houses, you know.
So what does this hotel offer its guests?
Okay, we have a different kind of houses here. Well, we call casitas, okay? You have suites with small jacuzzis for two people. We have a owner's suite is the biggest room here. You have a big pool for 6 people. Then we can offer a spa. You have in the spa, you have a treatment, the Inca treatment. You have hot stones. So that kind of treatment feel you the spirit of the Incas here.
Que mona ceremonia kairanjispa que Pachamama terama.
He feel very, very happy to be here, So he asked the permission with the assistant. That is the ceremony, give the kiss for Pachamama or Mother Earth. That's the meaning, all right?
I couldn't wait to meet the shaman in the middle of the rainforest. This was it for me. This was great.
They really are very innocent people in that they respect the smallest things in life, and I found that really, really beautiful.
Like the taste of sweets and the sparkling of silver and gold and natural stones.
The fact that they could respect something so simple as a little piece of sugar to give back to the earth, I found really beautiful, because I think it's the simple things in life that make life worth living.
Usually the flames aren't supposed to get that big, but apparently the more positive the energy in the circle is, the bigger the flames will be. It's such a fantastic moment because you actually feel like you're part of this whole ceremony.
The first sight of Machu Picchu, it's like unveiling the bride. It's the big reveal.
It's just mind-blowing. It's so beautiful. Machu Picchu, which translates to the old peak, is generally known as the lost city of the Incas. And my first impression of the place was exactly that. It looked like a lost city, because you almost think, how did these people find this place?
The interesting thing about Machu Picchu is it's the only place that hasn't been ransacked or destroyed by the Spanish, so it's still considered one of the only holy sites to the Incas.
In the early 90s, the Peruvian government put in a concession to put cable cars and luxury hotels around the ruins of Machu Picchu. However, all of the locals protested and said, no, you can't have this sort of immense tourism around us because you're going to destroy the history and you're going to destroy the sacred feel of the place.
Hi, Braulio.
Hello.
Hello, Jeannie.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
We are very excited to be here. This is such an incredible place.
We want to find a really good viewpoint. How do we get there?
Oh, we are going up to the guardhouse where he's taking her here like 10 more minutes. Let's go up, please.
It looks high.
Go slowly.
It's quite a walk. Oh, wow. This is incredible.
That's the postcard view I was dreaming of seeing.
It was definitely worth a long time year's walk up this hill.
I can really understand why the Spanish didn't find this place. We decided that the most important thing at Machu Picchu is, before we discover the ancient ruins, is to take a walk to the Sun Gate. I would like to say we trekked up the hill, but we kind of pulled our way up that hill until we got to Sun Gate. Machu Picchu is at an elevation of about 2,400 meters above sea level. Where we're going is another 300 meters higher to the Inca Empire, or Sun Gate, which was the original entrance that the Incas used to access Machu Picchu.
What a walk. I pride myself in the fact that I can walk shopping centers in stilettos, but this in flats was quite a tremendous walk.
I hiked all the way up here in order to see a view of the Machu Picchu ruins. However, I can't see anything.
Because of the valley that Machu Picchu is in, within minutes, all the clouds will rise from the bottom of the ground and all of a sudden just cover any view you thought you had.
I'm thinking of that song from Crowded House, 4 seasons in one day. You arrive there, it's beautiful weather. 10 minutes later it's raining, then it's sunny, then it's misty, then it clears up again.
Okay, guys, we're here in Tipunku, you know, where now we have the best view that you can appreciate down there, you know, where this is the place where it's coming in the solstice of the summer, you know, from right there, the sun, and the first sun's ray illuminated came through by that door and illuminate one of the doors.
Is that why this is called Sun Gate?
Yes, that's why. That's why we call Sun Gate.
Machu Picchu is quite inaccessible, so was this the main gate, the main entrance?
Yes, the main gate and also a checkpoint, a kind of control tower, where from here they were checking if any enemy want to attack this sanctuary.
If you're going to go to a space that has got any element of history behind it, you need an excellent guide. You need someone with an historical grasp of the place, because when you're there, you can't help but be overwhelmed by what you're seeing, and you're going to want to have as much information about the space as possible.
Standing here, you can really see why this was called the lost city of the Incas, because if you stand down below at the Urubamba River, one can hardly see the city. It also was a very strong fortress with cliff faces up to 400 to 500 meters high, and it was flanked by these very big mountains that created natural streams, so the city had an inexhaustible supply of water. The question is, why was Machu Picchu really built? Some say it was a holy grail for priestesses. Others say it was a jail for criminals. There's so many factors and everyone has a different theory. And even when you go there, every guide has a different story about what this is, what that is. It's got something very romantic about it, and that's what makes it so rare.
With all our access to machinery and technology, it's unbelievable to imagine that this city behind me was created by people with little more than their hands and ingenuity. Now here's something that appears incredibly advanced for its time. As you can see, this irrigation system and plumbing system has been carved out of the granite, and it is said that this water goes through to all of the residential estates and all of the terraces, providing water to the entire community.
This place is actually called the Sun Temple, or the Temple of the Sun, and the Incas were masonry masters. They built almost this entire temple out of one piece of granite.
It's so beautiful, and the technique was used is called ashlar, and it's unbelievable because basically what they did was they took blocks that were similar in size, piled them on top of each other without the use of mortar. But it's so well done that it is said that not even a blade of grass can get between the two blocks.
And if you look here, the Incas actually had a whole lot of respect for nature because they built this structure according to the topography of the hill. So they built their own structures around the big main boulder.
So this is the top view of the Sun Temple where we just were.
And the reason they call it the Sun Temple is it has two very important windows. The window in front of us is the winter solstice, and the sun shines directly through there on the 21st of June, illuminating the temple. And the window on the right is the summer solstice, the 21st of December.
You know what I find so fascinating about it is that it just proves that the Incas had such an incredibly vast grasp on astronomy.
Indeed they did.
The primary buildings of Machu Picchu are Intihuatana, which is the sundial, and the room with the 3 windows, which was the primary spots and the most sacred places within the city or the village where they would pray to the sun and pay respects to the earth, the sun, and the moon.
This is the Intihuatana stone, which is apparently the most sacred place here at Machu Picchu.
It's also an astronomic clock and a calendar because on the 2 equinoxes, the 21st of March and the 21st of September, at midday, the sun sits directly over the pillar without causing a shadow or casting a shadow. And basically what they call it is the hitching point of the sun. No shadow, all the energy coming down, and it's basically holding the sun, stopping it from moving north. Jeannie, come look at this stone. This is probably one of the most important stones to the Inca culture. And if you look carefully, it's shaped like a guinea pig. You have the feet over there, the body, the head over there, and the eye over there. And what made it so special is that on the 21st of June, which is the winter solstice, the sun would shine from the Intihuatana stone all the way through onto the eye and create an illuminated triangle.
Oh, wow, that is incredible.
Perfectly. But it no longer works because in 2000, a beer company from Cuzco was shooting a commercial here, and a 400-kilogram crane fell onto this famous stone and cracked off the corner. And in doing so, it ruined that whole effect of creating a triangle. So they actually destroyed the Inca astronomy.
One of the most beautiful things about Machu Picchu, besides the fact that it's an architectural feat, is that everything's just one big mystery. Everywhere you look, there's something new and something magical to see.
Machu Picchu, it's the best thing I've ever done. It's a civilization that started in 1450. It lasted less than 100 years. Some say it ended because of smallpox, others because of the Spanish arriving. But it's a mystery that will last forever, and we'll never know.
There were so many curios within Machu Picchu and Cusco and the whole of Peru, really, that I couldn't nail one thing that I really wanted. And then it came to me. A child.
Next week on Top Travel.
We've just arrived in the Amazon and I'm completely beside myself with excitement. Look at the size of the spider.
The king of the jungle! Woo! Woo!